We'll start with the roll call, please.
Tom Iagnemma.
Here.
Doug Kaine.
Here.
Joseph Johnson.
Here.
Jamey Noland.
Here.
Danny Cerrone.
Here.
And also Jason Paulovich.
Here.
And Chris Seymour. Here.
Pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have the approval of the minutes from the April 23rd, 2026 meeting. Does anybody have any comments or questions on those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 4/23/26 meeting.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to old business A, review and discuss F01 2026, Hastings Phase 5, preliminary and final minor subdivision application, parcel 571A10, zoned ND neighborhood design. Project is 14 single-family and 10 townhomes on one of the remaining developable parcels within the Hastings neighborhood. And again, this is under old business. We've seen this before, and there were some follow-up items. So where do we want to start with this, Jason?
I'll just give a quick recap. So it was on last month's Planning Commission agenda. The applicant and their consultant had submitted revised plans just prior to last month's meeting, so we didn't have a review on it at that point in time. But the Planning Commission did discuss the current plans as they were submitted at the time, provided feedback. Ultimately, the application was tabled at your last meeting. Since then, at the request of the consultant, we did re-review the plans at that time and provided a comment letter dated May the 26th. Since then, Gateway Engineers revised the plan substantially and provided a response to comment letter dated June the 3rd. So those items are attachments for tonight's meeting, and that kind of takes us to where we are right here. We obviously haven't fully reviewed the plans, but we did, review what was submitted. We don't have a letter to accompany these, but we've reviewed the documents. We've spoken with the consultant earlier today to kind of provide some clarity on some questions they had. But that pretty much takes us up to speed right now.
After we talk through this, is there a township engineer recommendation?
We can provide our thoughts on the comments. I think maybe it be more prudent to have the consultant go through, kind of explain the changes he's made. We can go through our letter from the last review and kind of inform you on how they've addressed those items.
Okay, good. So we'll go through the changes, and you're going to highlight those for us?
Yes. Again, Dave Heath with Gateway Engineers. So listen to the board, working with the township as well as the homeowner association, took all that into account when we made some revisions or updates to the plan. One of the points of contention, or at least what I was listening to last time, was the designation of the road, public versus private. This road, it will be a public road. We've made revisions to the first, say, few hundred feet of the section that wouldn't necessarily have complied in the past. Those have now, the adjustments to this plan, we feel meet that. It's a 40-foot right-of-way, matching with the construction standards for the township. Another, say, change or update, we've added a mailbox to the end of the cul-de-sac there. Another comment, I believe, was homeowners association originated from was bollards along the trail. We are now proposing collapsible bollards to use that that trail as an emergency access if needed. With the change to a public road, we would be proposing one additional modification. That modification is in reference to utilities being underneath the public roadway. We have, and I don't know if we discussed this before, but MATSF trunk line runs right underneath that main road. So we're kind of crammed with an existing 20-foot easement that we're trying to get everything around. So that would be a modification request that we'd like to attach to this application. I spoke with the applicant or the Charter Homes. There will be a letter on their letterhead coming in that requests that modification. I think those are kind of the big ticket items. Some third-party coordination. We have submitted and received our first round of comments for the driveway HOP. We're currently working through those. We've met with the Conservation District regarding this site. We're currently doing some soil sampling per their request. So that is advancing. That summarizes most of the changes. Now, there were a couple more. I think they were technical. I don't know how, but I'm happy to go through maybe some of those outstanding ones, if there are any questions.
I have a few questions just for clarity. I mean, you did revise the cul-de-sac
Yes.
from previous as well to expand that to be compliant with township standards.
So the cul-de-sac difference, it meets the radii of the construction standard. The biggest difference is the township standard has a 20-foot cartway coming into it. We're proposing a 28-foot cartway. So that's really the biggest difference, which hopefully is not concerning.
One item, David, regarding the modification for the utilities. Just from past dealings with the development, we wanted to ensure that the contractor uses the approved specifications for backfill and things like that. I mean, I know a lot of times they've requested and perhaps used in certain circumstances, slag or other materials that aren't exactly per standard. I just want to make sure that that was on the record that materials, especially if they're going to be under a public road, that they would meet our standards.
Yeah, those aggregate, the slag that was used before was associated with foundations that were on site from a former hospital. Those are no longer there. They are aware the implications of the aggregate in response to having that modification granted. It would be your standard material.
And we do have a few comments that relate to the geotechnical report. The geotechnical report is forthcoming, so obviously we haven't been able to review that. Slopes being one of them. We don't have concern at this point in time, but those are open items, I guess, if you will, until that report is delivered.
For an update on that, we're pressing. Gateway is not doing the geotechnical analysis. It is another consultant. We were told it was going to be this week, and now we're being told it's next week. There was a slight change to that request for the report when we got feedback from the Conservation District for sampling. They wanted some soil samples associated with some of the old infrastructure that's no longer there. So that's part of the delay.
have any questions? Open it up.
Not technical. I'm curious about what engagement you've had with the community in the past month and, you know, to the extent they've had input on this specific plan.
Yeah, good question. So the homeowners association provided a list to the township of concerns that they had through, and this is not me, this is what I've heard, is that the developer has reached out both to the township and did an audit of the entire neighborhood. They're going to address the entire list of the homeowners association. The Western Pennsylvania president, Amanda Heineman, will be reaching out to schedule a list or a meeting to review the list of what, say, is not compliant versus what they're going to fix. And that's the process that they've since undertook since our last meeting.
Relative to all the prior conditions.
Correct.
I guess should have been more specific. I was thinking relative to this specific plan.
So, yeah, one of the other concerns, I believe, was associated with lighting at the entrance. That is something that has been planned for. Currently working with both the dry utility provider as well as PennDOT. The bollards was one, and then the township owning the road was the three big ones that we were planning for.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our concerns and that of the HOA, so it's appreciated. Could you explain the one modification request? I was kind of lost. You said it was utilities under the road, but then you mentioned Mayview. Is it utilities under Mayview or utilities under this township
It's under
road?
the proposed
Okay.
road. So we've had two that were provided before. One was a length of the cul-de-sac. The other, not providing sidewalk on both sides of the road the whole way to Mayview. And the third, which we're proposing, is to have water and sanitary infrastructure underneath the new public road.
And to clarify, the township standard details require that the utilities be located in the public right-of-way, but outside the pavement section. So that's why, and obviously, this is not atypical for this plan. There are utilities obviously under the paving in previous phases of this as well.
On private or public roads in those instances?
On both.
Yes.
Jason, do you have the requirement for the length and what the length is for the modification?
I believe they're under one of the attachments, Abby, for the modifications.
It's on our
So
coverage.
it's on this side all the way? And it's on
Yep.
that other side?
Yeah,
some
it'll
of
be
the
on
way?
the, all of them.
It's like 1.5.
Cover.
Right.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you'll have to blow it up, but the modifications are listed on the cover. I'll get mine open too.
Get you some glasses. They look in the car.
I believe that total length is either 500 or 600 feet for a cul-de-sac. 500, and we're at
It is 500, yes.
662.
Okay, thank you. And
And that, Tom, just so, that's 215.74.
okay. And the width of the road at the entrance, no modification needed there.
No, the width and the right-of-way are both compliant per neighborhood design. So as if you bring up the site plan, Abby, as you come in from Mayview, the proposed right-of-way starts as 40 feet until you get to this point here, and then expands to 50 the remainder of the way. But both of those templates are within neighborhood design. There are several allowable right-of-way templates within neighborhood design. That's your interpretation? Okay.
Are you clarifying between the right-of-way for the road versus the paved portion or not?
Yes. So we're saying that the paved portion is compliant,
Okay.
as is the right-of-way width.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Abby, if you can zoom into that, say first, that crosswalk. So, yeah, right there. That's where the transition happens pretty much right at that crosswalk. So we just feathered out the curb from the one cartway to the other. And widening that out allows us to park on the one side.
So the paving width does vary
Yep.
from one
Yep.
side to the other, but they're both compliant within those right-of-way width templates.
Okay, thanks. And the portion in the back off of the cul-de-sac that was discussed for potentially emergency access? So I assume that would be emergency access flowing both ways, but that's something that you work with the township on, and the township had some desire to have that? Or was this independent and was just something the developer wanted?
This was in response to a suggestion
Okay,
that was in the original comment letter. I believe Anthony had spoke about with John last week about some of the public infrastructure there.
okay. I just want to make sure that this isn't something that the township's either unaware of or does not
No, it
want.
was also brought up in the county letter.
Okay,
They noted it from the aerial and made a suggestion as well that that be maintained for access.
and is there any requirement for how it's maintained or what kind of surface? Or is it just literally dotted
There's not.
lines on a map?
There's not a requirement, so.
Okay, and is it, it's feasible, I assume that's pretty flat there, right? So
It
that
is.
is feasible.
It'll be flat until it starts to climb up the hill. Generally, where that note is, it starts to come up grade to match the Hastings Park Drive kind of 90-degree.
Okay, I guess what I'm poking at here is to make sure it's not just on paper, but it's
Sure.
not
Doesn't
feasible.
work in the field, yes. No, I mean, we feel like it would.
Okay, and then what's the width on that?
I believe it's 10 feet.
Not designated on the plan, but I believe it is also, just judging by scale.
Okay, again, just trying to make sure that it's actually going to be usable for that potential use. Okay,
I believe one of the comments from the last meeting was, or at least it was discussed, was the mailbox cluster, and that is shown in this location as well.
can you just step up and state your name for the record, please? Appreciate that.
Andrew Garrett, resident in Hastings. Is there a school bus pickup on this street? Or are the kids going to be walking from the cul-de-sac up that trail to the existing school bus stop? And if so, then that trail needs to be paved and not gravel, and it needs to be lighted for the safety of our children.
So it will be paved. There's no lighting proposed there. Now, I do know that the school won't drive back that cul-de-sac. There needs to be more coordination of where that could potentially be. What I would propose to the school is that there is area that where the current access is to there and where the billboard sign is, that could be used as a pull-off for pickup because that will be cut off once the new road goes in.
So the kids can get picked up on Mayview Road?
Yes.
So is that to the left of the?
So to the entrance, it would be plan left, closer to the bakery.
Are you comfortable with that?
We don't, the school board has to tell us. Yeah.
Well, I think it needs to be addressed.
There's sidewalk and stuff where that sounds squirrely.
I wouldn't want mine.
That was originally when we talked, when we asked the questions about the trail coming off the cul-de-sac. That was our original concern, that if the kids are going to be picked up at the existing bus stop, which is not really that far away, that they have a path that's usable, safe, and let's face it, in the winter, it's dark when the kids get
Sure.
get off the bus. So there has to be some kind of lighting for safety.
Association can pay for the electricity.
We also requested some landscaping plan for that trail as well.
I suggest when Amanda comes with the list, those
It was on the
suggestions.
list.
Yeah,
So, okay, we can discuss it then.
yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything?
What's our time frame like relative to their application and when an action or a recommendation has to be?
So both this
Given.
application and the application for the revision to the master plan are on the same timeline. The applicant has formally granted extensions for both of these applications to June 11th, which takes us one day past the next Board of Commissioners meeting. So we're on track right now if there is a recommendation one way or the other on this application tonight. But if this were to get tabled tonight, there would need to be another extension granted for this application. And obviously, a recommendation for approval on this application would require a condition that the master plan revision be approved, or otherwise it wouldn't matter.
And you mentioned earlier that the geotechnical will address the slope on Mayview Road.
Correct.
Coming off of Mayview, okay. So we had to make it subject to that being acceptable too then?
Correct.
Yeah. Joseph's writing it down, so he's.
The master plan has not been approved.
It is not. It has not been before the board yet. It's been through your
We
planning.
recommended it
You've
for approval.
recommended,
Right.
but it was requested to be tabled by the applicant until this one caught up.
Does
Anyone
it,
else have anything? Go ahead.
it feels like there are more open questions on this one than we usually have between HOP not, I mean, is that kind of a formality or is that something that's already been there? I'm not that worried about the conservation district or DEP.
I mean, obviously, the township is not going to execute a developer's agreement until those items are in place. But obviously, there are some third-party items that'll have to be addressed here.
It sounded like there was a backdoor for emergency support. But there's not any, like Tom was asking about, any kind of requirements to have that stay a emergency access potential. Did I hear that correctly? Or did I not understand that discussion? we just finished talking about the length, and then we talked about kind of a back access. So that was not for vehicular?
That would be for emergency purposes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
But
there's
it's a
bollards.
paved surface.
Yeah.
I was mixed up about where that was coming from. Okay.
I think on
Wait a
the
minute, I
final
thought-
plans, some housekeeping, we would want that surface specified, obviously the width, if it's intended to be 10 feet, let's call it out on the plan as a 10-foot paved access.
Yeah, the response from earlier was there is nothing right now that specifies surface.
Is it sanitary and, domestic water service, or just the sanitary? It's both.
It would be both, yes. And just as I was looking at the plan, there was one other modification that we requested, and it was associated with putting that wall inside the riparian, the 35-foot riparian buffer.
Yeah, that's on the cover as well.
I think a total of 3.
That's under 21578 C5 for the wall within the riparian buffer.
Have those modification requests been submitted, or they're still yet to come?
The first 2 have.
Yes.
The third I'm bringing up to you today. Tried to get Charter to get it on their letterhead before today, and I don't have it yet.
Does the community have any other reservations besides lighting and the school bus stop? And a landscape plan?
I'm Bill Call, President of the Association. And one thing that we're talking about utilities, just to let the commission know, we've had leak after leak after leak of water under our streets since the beginning, and they're still coming. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but they're digging up our streets frequently to fix water leaks.
But just, I don't know if there's a way you guys can provide that transaction from South Fayette, because you'll be responsible for those roads, and if they have the same level of installation as they've had throughout the rest of the neighborhood. I mean, you can call the water company, and they'll tell you, multiple things we've had in the water systems, just for your cautions.
Anyone have anything else?
Are there requirements for lighting on that path or landscaping plan?
They're not.
Okay. David, did you say you guys would do either of those things?
I don't think it's out of the question to do it. No, can I commit that they're going to do it without consulting them here and tonight?
Yeah.
No. I am familiar with their itch for landscaping, so they do spend some money on landscaping. So I could see them doing it. Lighting, I think there's some lighting in between some of those townhome buildings into phase 2, 3-ish area.
Something they could jump off of is where you're going?
Yeah, I mean, during the dry utility coordination, there's certainly, we could plan for a service in that area. I think, what was the schedule for the board meeting? Is it in
Our next
July?
meeting is June the 10th, and the time extension went through June 11th. So next Wednesday.
So next Wednesday. I could check on them to see if they could work with the homeowners association before that, provide feedback for, the board.
Jason, are you looking for those modifications to the specific code numbers to be referenced in a motion? You
No,
made a point
you don't.
to say them.
They'll be in the recommendation letter.
All right. Yeah.
And they've been part of the record, with the exception of the last one, but it'll be in the recommendation letter.
I'll make a motion to recommend for approval item F-01-2026 Hastings Plan 5 Preliminary and Final Major Subdivision application, including recommendation of approval of modifications to have sanitary and water beneath paving in public right-of-way to allow up to 670 feet of length to the cul-de-sac. And a retaining wall as indicated on the plan within the 35-foot riparian buffer.
Thanks, Joe. We have a motion.
GTE review letter dated 5/26.
And GTE review letter dated 5/26.
And subject to the geotechnical report findings.
That's already in there, right? I don't have to say that.
It's in our letter.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, and before we vote, and I think we'll do a roll call vote, I just want to mention that I am going to vote no on this, generally based on the same reasons why I voted no on the master plan revisions from last month. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Does anybody have any questions or concerns on the motion? Can we please do a roll call?
Tom Iagnemma,
No.
Doug Kaine,
Aye.
Joseph Johnson,
Aye.
Jamey Noland,
Aye.
Danny Cerrone.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Go ahead.
Again, Andrew Garrett, 3101 Archer's Way, Hastings. I am concerned as a resident with what I see happening in our neighborhood on finishing up the neighborhood. I see paving that is just poor. And a good example is they have sealed manhole covers and access points for water and gas with tar. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to track tar into my house. And a lot of these things are within 5 foot of doorways. It's that they are not doing a good job at what they're doing. And as a licensed, unlimited mechanical contractor, I see the shortfalls. I mean, they're running 30,000-pound track hose over our Belgian blocks and breaking them off. They're running excavators on the street without street pads, tearing up our blacktop. If you look at phase 4, they've run over street signs, dug up concrete that's been broken by their trucks and vehicles, and just literally dumped a load of gravel in the hole where the sidewalks were. I love the neighborhood. I've been there 4 years, but we're heading in the wrong direction with finishing up this neighborhood. And I'll present it to you this way. If you guys, or if anybody in the group buys a new car and they pull it out for you to pick up, and it's got tar all over it and concrete all over it and stains on the carpets, would you accept it? The answer is no, you wouldn't. And take that times 10 at the cost of our houses, we shouldn't be accepting these kind of things. The blacktop is not a finished grade blacktop on the surfacing. It's, by your standards, you say it should be 1/8 inch aggregate in the finished topping. We have aggregate over 3/4 of an inch on the surface. That's great for a high impact road crossing, but not on our public and private streets. So I think it needs to be addressed. It's sad to see our walking trail, 10 foot wide next to Mayview Road, has been broken up by the same excavator, Bobcats, man lifts. I agree they they leveled out the dirt and seeded everything, and that looks nice, and I give them credit for that. But you're still leaving us with patched roads, patched trails. It's not what we purchased when we purchased in that neighborhood. And, you know, I don't mind paying my taxes to South Fayette Township. In fact, your taxes are more than my mortgage on my home. So with that being said, I really am looking at you guys to hold charter accountable. And, you know, a perfect example, where is charter tonight? Thank you.
I'd like to make one other additional comment, because Andy and I are part of a transition team, and we're the ones that compiled the big list, okay? And one of our concerns was the private roads. And the commissioner, who came and Chuck, he came and walked the neighborhood with us. We were very, very happy about that, because we were able to point out some of the issues. And many surprises, you know, but these were all things that were on our list. And that's when we handed the list over to South Fayette Township. Since that time, it's when we saw these two roads that had final paving and the breaking up of the trail along Maple Road, two new big additional issues. And we had no notice that those roads were going to be paved. Those two roads that were paved are private roads. So, you know, if South Fayette or anybody accepts that, they're accepting us on behalf of us. And let me put it this way, my road is yet to be paved. If that's what they're going to do, I say don't do it. Because it looks terrible, it's sloppy, it's messy, there's concrete spilled, there's, just seaming that's not done properly. I'm not a construction engineer, Andy is. He and I walked it together, and I was so appalled. And that's supposed to be final. It's just, to me, very unacceptable. My name is Linda Sansolini. I live at 2126 Bow Street.
So thank you for your time and your comments. Anyone have anything they want to say? So I'll make a quick comment. A lot of the things that you're talking about right now aren't things that our board is directly responsible for. However, I think it is great and it's important to get feedback to the township. And if you want to bring it to this board, you do. I'm very open to that. And I'm going to make sure that those messages and that information gets moved to the appropriate people within the township. Your comments are on record, so that is super helpful. So I appreciate that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
I just want to ask a question.
Sure.
It's Stephanie Hall, Hastings, and does South Fayette inspect the paving alleys, those belonging to the HOA?
We do inspect on behalf of the township, but if you're suggesting something was paved recently or this season, we were not informed of that, and we didn't.
It happened in the first half of May. No, the final paving was the first half.
They did it was wrong, and we asked them to fix it. And the parts you most object to were the fixes.
But that happened in the first half of May.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the requests we would have is, how can we have an association person there during the paving to make sure that we are issues are taken care of?
Or South Fayette.
We want to know what's
inspect.
happening so we can be.
You know, I mean, as we said in our original appeal to the commission, that we were shocked at how many private roads there are in our community that we are going to be responsible for. It's going to be a huge cost to the association, you know, and they get turned over in a condition that is really inferior. That just basically makes the problem worse.
Thank you again. Anything else? We're going to move on to our next agenda item.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So I see we have nothing under new business, but we do have under acceptance of applications, we have review and consider for acceptance S04 2026 Wyman Consolidation Plan, preliminary and final minor subdivision application 5088 Thomas Run Road, zoned R2.
Yes, Tom, so this is an application regarding two different parcels, 258D, lots 25 and 26, to combine them into one parcel. The applicant and their consultant did provide the application, agent authorization, subdivision plan. We do have a MATSSF review with no comments, and they provided the deed. Based on what they've submitted, the application is complete, and we would recommend acceptance.
One second, sorry. Okay. Anybody have questions on that? Can we get a motion to acceptance item A?
Motion, so moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And we go to open discussion. Motion to adjourn?
Motion, second.
We got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.